So tension is a massive part of sewing. There's tension in your thread, your top thread, your bobbin thread. There's tension in the fabric. There's tension when you pin stuff. There's tension when you take the pins out, and getting that managed and balanced is really, really important. Very common thing to happen when people feel that the thread tension or the stitch tension isn't right. Here on this machine, it's up here on this machine. Now, truth is 99% of the issues that face with tension will probably have nothing to do with your tension dial. It might be that you have not got your thread the right way around. It might be the bobbin thread's not the right way round. It might be that the bobbin's not clicked in properly. It might have something to do with the fact that you haven't quite got it in your thread channel properly, or it's slipped off a certain point of your thread channel, which does happen more often than you'd think. It might be because you've threaded your needle with the presser foot down. There are multiple reasons why your machine tension might be off, but most of the time it's got nothing to do with this tension dial. So please don't be tempted to immediately fiddle with it. I'll explain how tension works on the top dial now. So what I've got here in front of me is a naked sewing machine that we've stripped bare to show you, I'll give you a nice visual of how tension works. So if I take the presser foot and push it down, you will see that there's a disc attached to a coil and a disc here on the dial itself. Okay, and when the presser foot is up, the discs are open, and when I push it down, the discs are shut. And when you are threading your machine, you want your thread to be going through these discs. Okay, so if you're threading it and you haven't opened your tension discs, there's a good chance it's just going to glide over the top of them, and that's obviously going to have an impact on your stitch tension. So we always want to make sure that that is wide open. So this coil here manages how much pressure this disc is putting on this disc. So the heavier or the lighter the tension, the looser the coil, and the stronger the tension, the more tense that coil becomes. And you should only really need to change your tension if you are using a non-standard thread. So if you're using a top stitch thread, or if you're using a very, very lightweight thread, you may need to loosen the tension or make it a little bit stronger. Most tension dials are set between 3, 4 and 5, although on this machine there's an automatic function, and so you do find that the higher the spec of the machine, they tend to have an automatic setting for your tension. So the only other thing I'd say about tension discs is that when you're not using your sewing machine, it's really good practice to make sure your presser foot is down. Put a little bit of fabric underneath to protect the feed dogs. But the reason why is that if you aren't using your sewing machine and you've left your presser foot up, what happens is that there is tensile force going into that coil, and that's engaged, and it's going to be engaged till the next time you use your sewing machine. So if you haven't used your sewing machine in 15 years or so, that coil has had all of that tensile force on it for that period of time. So you do sometimes find with slightly older machines that the coil has perished a little bit, so you do need to sometimes up the tension just ever so slightly to get a more balanced stitch. However, just remember, good practice to make sure your presser foot is down.